welcome to our very first leadership symposium. We are so happy to have you. We decided we wanted to kind of celebrate the year. It's been a tough one, we know, and we want to celebrate our leaders. You guys have been quite amazing, and what you've done this year is amazing, and we are in awe. And we do have Teacher Appreciation Week, so even better coming up next week. But we wanted to take this opportunity to have a celebratory symposium and give you guys some information about where we're headed and where we already are, and get to ask some questions that you might have that are burning in your mind for the class tag team. You're more than welcome to chat. The more you chat and engage with us, there'll be a prize at the end, wink, wink. And hopefully, we'll bring you guys some great information. But I do want to introduce you to who's with us tonight. I'm going to introduce myself, and then I'll let everyone else introduce themselves. My name is Sam Hall. I am the Product and Content Marketing Manager for ClassTag. I was an educator for 5 years before joining ClassTag. I taught 6 through 12 social studies. And I'm going to hand it over to Vlada, our CEO.
Hi, I'm Vlada. So great to be here. Excited for this special group, and I can't wait to tell you a little bit more about my story and how I started ClassTag and where it's all going. Excited to be here.
And Danielle, tell us who you are.
Hi, everyone. A lot of you already know my face and my name. I'm Danielle. I've led the advisor program for the last 2 years, and I'm really excited to partner with Sam to provide you a whole new experience. I'm an educator. I joined the ClassTag team about 2 years ago, and I'm now transitioning into a new role at ClassTag, which I'm really excited about, that we'll talk a little bit more about today. I'm a customer success manager for ClassTag Connect.
And definitely not last but not least, one of the coolest people on our team, Colin.
Thank you, Sam. And hi, everyone. I'm Colin Mcgee. I'm the head of product management at ClassTag. And so I'm the person who's thinking about how do we make the product the best it can be for you. And as I scan down a lot of the participants here today, I recognize a lot of your names and faces. I've had a chance to speak to a lot of you one-on-one, and those who I haven't, I hope to in the coming year. One of my big goals at ClassTag is to really listen to your needs, and as we think about evolving it, make sure that it's done through being just the best program for you. And so thank you for all of the great input this year, and all the great input to come.
Thanks. And so we kind of want to give you guys a little bit of a rundown. If you're unsure how you got here, it's totally okay. We're going to talk a little bit about what this year has brought us. Vlad has always said, with every crisis, there's, an opportunity that arises, and, it might have been a tough year, but some good has come out of this year. We're also going to give you guys a unique in-depth look at what ClassTag Connect is. It's the big thing that we've worked on all year. We're really proud of it. And then we're also going to celebrate some outstanding leaders that we have and just helping us with everything. They're amazing teachers. They give us quality and amazing product knowledge, and they help us whenever we can. And they're just amazing. And I'll let Danielle talk all about that because she gets really excited about it. And then we want to give you guys a little glimpse into the future, like an exclusive look of what's to come with ClassTag and how the advisor program is going to rise to meet the challenge. So, real quick, I wanted to just recap what has happened this year, right? We went back to school strong on ClassTag. It was crazy because I know some of you went hybrid, some of you went in person, and some of you were completely remote and just stepped in the classroom for the very first time, maybe last week. But we all went back to school strong. It's been tough, and I know we're tired, but we're going to finish the year strong. We might have to crawl to the finish line, but we're here for you guys, and you guys are rocking it. We did launch ClassTag Connect, which we'll spend quite a bit of time talking about. But in the meantime, we've also launched ClassTag Goods, which has been, you guys will get to see it a little bit more next week as we go into Teacher Appreciation Week. But ClassTag Goods is our way of getting you guys supplies that you need. And then Google Classroom extension for Chrome. If you are a Google Classroom user, you can now direct message parents within the platform of Google Classroom without even going to ClassTag. So if you haven't checked it out, it's amazing, and we'll drop the link in the comments. And then we just recently launched our parent portal to parents. And parents can now see everything happening in your Google Classroom right within ClassTag. So hopefully that's been helpful as well. Just having, instead of having parents be like, I don't know if that's, is that actually been turned in or not, you have the answer now. So we're good. And then at the end, we're gonna, a little preview. We are, as Danielle said, doing a revision of the advisor program, and hopefully what we'll bring to you guys will be super helpful. And we have some fun news for that at the end. So we did want to give out some awards. I'm going to turn it over to Danielle. We have a couple awards to give this evening because we have some amazing leaders, like I said earlier. So yeah, Danielle.
So a lot of you know our hashtag Make It Happen. And so we decided to make an award for our hashtag, and I'm going to give it to Jasmine, who has been alongside us for the last 2 years in the advisor program. But this year, during the current time, she stepped up. She found ways to support me as the advisor leader. She held her own professional development with her New Jersey cohort, creating meaningful content. And we're just really grateful to have her. She's a breath of fresh air for us. So Jasmine, congratulations.
Huge thank you. And Jasmine's always fun to talk to. Like, you cannot not talk to Jasmine and smile, because that's just who she is. It's awesome. And for those of you asking specific questions about Parent Portal and Class Tech or Google Classroom, we will get back to you. If we don't get back to you this evening, I promise we'll get back to you with any in-depth questions you have. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Vlada, who's going to tell us a little bit about Class Tech Connect.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone who joined and who's joining. I'll start with a bit of a story and how I got started with Class Tag, and have some fun facts for you all to learn from that. Well, at the I guess at the time that Class Tag idea popped into my head, it wasn't by accident. It was because I was on the receiving end of parent communications in my daughter's school. And I saw that teachers were working really hard to communicate with all the parents. And yet I found myself more often than not missing various flyers and sign-ups on the door, and sending my daughter in the wrong outfits and doing all sorts of things that every parent wants to avoid. And the fun fact, actually two fun facts. One fun fact, that our CTO and my co-founder was a dad in the same school as my daughter. And so I surveyed parents, and I found my co-founder right there, who's an amazing serial entrepreneur and technologist. My background is in business and in strategy. And so we really formed this great founding team, and now have an amazing team of about 60 people on Class Tag that are working hard to support you, to create, to develop and continue to improve the product, and doing all sorts of other things as well. The fun fact number 2 is that one of our very first users of Class Tag was actually Danielle here, who was also a kindergarten teacher of my daughter. So I humbly came to her one day and I said, Danielle, I'm working on this platform. You might, you don't have to use it, but maybe that's something you would find interesting. And she's like, absolutely, I'm going to jump on board. And so she, a lot of the features like weekly newsletters, some of the reminder functionality, some of the scene functionalities, those early days of Class Tag were very heavily influenced by Danielle, and certainly continue to be. So I'm thrilled to have amazing educators on the team, and of course supporting amazing educators and families. And looking at this slide of supporting millions of families and thousands of schools is still sometimes, some days, seems surreal. And certainly we take this responsibility seriously and want to continue to deliver the best product, and certainly I think the love and admiration that we all share for teachers, whether those that were teachers or those that are on the receiving end of the great education, certainly have amazing appreciation. And so if you go to the next slide, Sam, what we've seen through pandemic, of course, or across social media was not only outpouring of love for ClassTag, and we were really trying to step up as fast and as best we can to support all the various challenges that you were having in the classroom, but we also uh, just admired amazing successes that you all were able to achieve despite it all. And maybe some days it didn't feel like this, but I want you all to take a moment to recognize just outstanding work and outstanding success that you've all accomplished. And if you go to the next slide, Sam, one of the things that noticed was pandemic is the great proliferation of tools, right? Because a lot of you had to go remote and hybrids and now needed an app or technology for everything because of lack of this in-person connection. And certainly that's where the idea of ClassTag Connect came in. And so we've spent the last year, in addition to working on the core ClassTag platform, creating this new level of unified platform for not only for the classroom, but also for the schools and the districts. And today I really wanted to tell you a little bit more about all the exciting new things that contains and some of the journey here. So really, in a nutshell, what we wanted to create is a platform that solves this overwhelming proliferation of tools and saves teachers' time, streamlines all of these communications for parents, gives visibility for schools and districts that they need for compliance, for effective decision making, and ultimately help everyone come together for every student's success. And that's been the goal for us with Connect. Keep going. Great. Well, I'll spend a moment just telling you a little bit more about sort of what actually is underneath the hood. And I'm excited that this is actually the first forum in which we think publicly are sharing all the great features it has. We've shared a little bit of information publicly, but you guys are all, I think, the first to get it in depth, and I'm very excited to share this. So the first thing that ClassTag Connect does, it contains everything of the core ClassTag platform, but it also has sort of these cascading communication from a school and district level. So in addition to all the classroom activities and announcement, you can do the same things at a school and district level and do that based on the communities it applies to. We've also introduced emergency communication in addition to every day that goes to all parent touch points right away. Including voice voice capabilities and including branding capabilities for school and district. And so now, as you see in this example, some of you got to love or get used to sort of ClassTag look and feel. Now these districts and school will be able to customize it according to their colors and some of their logos and etc. The second big thing it does on the next page is, of course, equitable access. And as I mentioned, in addition to what core ClassTag does with 100 languages translation, we are adding voice, we are adding social media sharing as well to, again, help from a school level and from a district level streamline and consolidate all of that multi-channel communication. I'm seeing some great comments. The third aspect, of course, is continue to double down on this meaningful engagement. And I think more schools and more districts are responding to the need of two-way communication. And we certainly will continue to support that with even more enhancements for Google Classroom integration that we will speak a little bit more about. Two-way engagement, various things that we are actually about to launch more broadly around ClassTag goods with supplies and parent contributions. Of course, sort of this two-way engagement comes with responsibility or comes with the need to have oversight and effective control. And so if we go to the next page, we can see sort of how we allow thoughtful and to be informed about some things that are happening with content monitoring and with actual communication logs, which we think would be a real game changer for both the teachers as well as administrators as part of the ongoing reporting and compliance. And then, of course, the analytics piece is really a huge differentiator. On the next page, you can see some of the examples, and perhaps you guys haven't seen this yet, but I'm sure that class tech teachers would be the highest on sort of their communications, and certainly we know that that's a big part of what attracted you to class tech, so you can communicate. You're effective communicators and you want to continue to improve on that. And we have a whole suite of reports and reporting for school leaders and district leaders to really see what's working, which families are at risk, being able to proactively attack some of the inaccuracy in contact information and really bring the community together. And then the last bit, I think that we have on Connect is, of course, easy adoption and seamless integration. We know that the big issue in unifying communities is sort of this change management. How do we easily and quickly roll out these features so that parents are on board, all the teachers are on board, and everyone is excited to jump on the same platform? And so, of course, our job is to make it as easy and seamless as possible. So we've integrated Clever and ClassLink for easy one-click rostering and onboarding. We also have, I think, in parallel opportunities for Google Schools specifically with Google Chrome extension for teachers, as well as Google Classroom. I apologize. I think someone might be in two places at once. Multitasking. Okay. Fantastic. And then summing it all up, right? We went through various things that Class Tech Connect does. I just wanted to make sure that everyone is clear on what the differences are and how sort of the two compare. And in a nutshell, Class Tech itself is for the teachers in the classroom. Class Tech Connect is for teachers, schools, and districts, right? And so all of these things that you see on this list are still present in both, right? Automated translation, multi-channel messages, read receipts, parent-teacher conference, sign-ups, event management. All of these things stay the same, and Google integrations included. We've seen a lot of comments about that. That's great to see. If you go to the next page, this is where you would see the differences. And so in its nature, Class Tech Connect is not only a consumer product, but it's also an enterprise product. And so it includes the voice calling and social media integration, school and district communications, emergency communication to all endpoints, branding, communication logs, and all of the various capabilities around reporting that we briefly touched upon, as well as onboarding, integration with student information system and staff professional development. Danielle and the team are really working hard to provide a lot of support and enablement to the schools and districts as part of Connect. All right, so if that created clarity, I want to make sure that we have even more clarity about some changes that are coming up. And I think as we are transitioning to Class Tech Connect as enterprise product, there are a couple of changes that we had to make on a school level to provide more clear differentiation between the products. And so a few things that are school-wide will now migrate to Connect effective July 1. And those are events and announcements at a school level, and those are opportunity for school leaders to actually visit classrooms as we continue to improve the core teacher platform. You hear more about that. We think it's important that we try to create as much differentiation between the two products as possible. And of course, I'm not seeing any angry comments yet here, but I imagine there might be some. And so we certainly, the last thing we want to do is to have you guys upset in our amazing celebration and community meeting. We invited you here because this is a big part of ClassTag's success so far, and we know that we want to we want to support you as best we can. So exclusive to your schools that were using ClassTag school-wide, or perhaps planning to use ClassTag school-wide now that you've piloted it in your classroom or in a number of classrooms in your school, we'd love for you to reach out, or your school leaders to reach out, to connect at classtag.com, and you can reference Leadership Summit, or we of course know the schools you guys are from, so we'll do our best to offer special pricing support and do that for as many schools as we can, but of course on a first come basis, because at the end of the day we only have in total 60 people. So even if we all start onboarding you, we might run out of people. So please reach out, and would love to tell you more and support you with your evaluation of this journey.
And guys, for those of you that are having a couple questions, this is great for Q&A. Just hold it in your head. We'll come back to them, I promise. But I think overall, this is a really cool change. And then you get Danielle as the person who onboards you. So it's a win-win. And we do want to make a point that we've noticed that when we get building administrators and when we get district administrators, we love to bring it back to the classroom, right? And advisors are the best. They are the ones who link us to everything else. You guys are our advocates and amazing, and you make it happen. So, thanks to advisors this year, we were able to pilot ClassTag Connect and have a smooth school-wide implementation at every school that had an advisor. And we actually had quality PD happening at every school with those advisors onboarding their colleagues and making sure that they were successful. So, and it creates this consistency of parent engagement through the year, which, as most of you know that are on here, when we have parents in our back pockets because we've been talking to them all year, it's easy to come to them when something's going wrong. And that's the best case scenario we can get as a teacher. So I'm going to turn this over to Danielle. Yeah.
And that's a great segue into our leadership award, which goes to Cheryl Denton. Cheryl approached me when all advisors were learning how to plan and execute an effective PD. And she said, Danielle, I have teachers at my school that are hesitant. They are not good with technology. What should I do? And we met one-on-one, and she had a great understanding of the different levels of technology happening at her school, what her teachers needed. And we created a PD session for her, and it went really successful. And I'm really proud to give her this award because she showed that her passion for ClassTag and making sure everyone has the tools they need was in front of her, and it was a success. So good job, Cheryl.
And for those who are winning this evening, look for an email in your box tomorrow morning. All right, so we're gonna have a little bit of brief fun. We would love to know, of these 4 choices, which one would you like to see the most for us to develop next? We're always looking to the future, and hopefully a poll popped up in your window and you can make a choice. There's no wrong answers. Pick favorite. I see those customizations already, Colin. And remember, you have the VP of product on the call, so it's not like he's looking or anything.
He tried to keep changing these features.
Go
Go ahead.
I know. I was going to say, it's like watching a stock ticker. It keeps changing.
Yeah.
Right?
Watching your roadmap change.
Wow.
So, and while, we're kind of letting everyone take a poll, maybe we can answer a question or two, Vlada.
Sure.
Miss St. Clair, maybe I got that right. St. Clair, you're curious about the change, says, as the school leader, does that mean I can't see what's happening in my classrooms? Can you tell her what will look like before July and then after July?
Yes, absolutely. So I know that a lot of teachers currently are were the first ones to discover ClassTag, and so they're also are de facto school leaders or ClassTag leaders, right? And so what you'll be able to continue doing if you're also a teacher in those classrooms is in up to 3 classrooms, you can freely go and do everything that you've been doing, regardless of whether you're the ones who claim the school and you appear under sort of ClassTag leadership on your school page or not. If you are only a school leader and not a teacher in any of the classrooms, so you're not listed in the classroom directories, in this case, you would things would change for you starting July 1, and so you would not be able to visit those individual classrooms that might be connected to the school, and as well as send those school-wide announcements in advance. And so if you are considering school-wide implementation, if you have a school-wide implementation, that's exactly the kind of cases that we want to support with Connect, because that's the best product that's built for it, and we promise to take good care of you and offer you really good value.
And like Vlada said, you do have an exclusive offer. So, maybe you need to find your decision maker in your school to help you with that choice, but don't forget that you do have exclusive offer, and that always helps out when that conversation comes up. So talking about innovation, because we're, on the road to the future, Danielle, tell us a little bit about Stacy and Julie.
So Stacy and Julie, they decided to work together and find out from some of the advisors additional PD that they'd like to see outside of ClassTag, specific to PowerPoints, leading virtual lessons. And so they decided to organize and execute their own PD session within the ClassTag program for other teachers, and it was a success, and they had some great ideas. And so the innovation award goes to Stacy and Julie.
Congratulations, ladies. And Stacy, we will see Stacy again. It sounded ominous, but it's not that ominous. And I'm going to actually turn this over to Colin. Everything that you guys had a poll on, by the way, Colin will talk about.
The upcoming school year. And so to kind of talk through them, first, responding to individual comments. One of the things that we're really thinking a lot about in the back office with the developers is how do we make ClassTag the best tool for two-way engagement? And what I've heard from you in a lot of the feedback sessions that we've had is that people reply with comments to your post, but you can't either respond to those comments or at least acknowledge them with some sort of an emoji, because that then allows you to ask parents to respond and acknowledge something that you might be sending them. So it's like it's one way to get into more two-way forms of dialogue. And so we'll be having that in the coming school year, where your post, you'll be able to respond to individual comments with emojis or comments of your own. Next, and I see a couple comments in the chat. We've heard from you that one of the benefits to ClassTag is the efficiency of sending communications out. And so while we're separating school-wide with Connect, we're also trying to enhance the experience at the classroom level, so that way you can do more as a teacher. And one of the ways that we've heard that would be helpful is to take announcements that you send often and make it possible to save them, reuse them, and gain more efficiency out of them. And so we'll be starting the school year with the ability to reuse posts that you had written in prior classrooms or in your classroom in prior years. We're going to expand upon that functionality as well, but we really think that that's going to be the thing that kind of unlocks a lot of the value, especially if you create what we hear is these really nice templates a lot of teachers have for their weekly classroom or their weekly lesson plan. And so we want to make it possible for you to reuse that. For those who have gotten into our Google Classroom feature set, we're going to be investing or continue to investing heavily in making that even more and more expansive. And so right now we released a parent portal over the last few weeks, and what that has allowed is parents to see all of the Google Classroom information on a child in their backpack. We're going to be bringing the backpack forward in the experience for parents and making it easier for them to see child work across classrooms, but then also bringing forth more of that Google Classroom information so that way parents are informed of what's happening and can meet you as partners in the journey of educating their child. But the thing that I'm probably most excited about is the stuff that we've been doing on the Chrome extension side. And so for those of you who are using Google Classroom, I encourage you to download the Chrome extension. It allows you to message parents directly from the app. And what we've heard is most valuable is that you can see if parents are messaging you back. And so you're in Google Classroom and you can just see that flow of information from ClassTag. We're going to be expanding upon that with notifications and other forms of information and things that you can do from inside Google Classroom. So you get all the power of ClassTag without having to actually use our tool, or go to it. And then lastly, we're going to be introducing this concept of ClassTag Premium. And so, as you know, right now, parents can turn off advertising, but we haven't made that possible for you at a classroom level with the classroom goods and the contributions, particularly that you're able to get from parents now. And so going into next year, you'll be able to purchase Classroom Premium at the classroom level, which will allow you to choose themes for your background and also have an ad-free experience. That'll be part of the Connect offering as well, without any additional costs. And we'll also be making that available to some of you as part of like our incentive programs. And so you'll be able to try some of these new features as well. And so that's some of what we have planned for the upcoming year or for the start of next school year. And there's some other stuff as well. But thank you for all the comments that have helped inform this roadmap and the work that we'll deliver for you for the start of the year.
Awesome. Thanks, Colin. And for those of you, I know Danielle and I are as teachers, very excited for the themes. Who doesn't want to do that to their ClassTag class?
I was surprised to see those poll results. And as Lada said, you might have just changed my roadmap a bit in a good way.
And don't worry, guys. I know there's a lot of comments. You guys are awesomely commenting and we're enjoying it. I love it. We will get to everybody, I promise. And so just to like round out the whole conversation, I do want to let there's another set of changes, but good ones for advisors. The program's going to change a little bit. We're going to go back to Facebook groups. It's easier to house information to where all of you can talk all at once and, communicate with each other all in one big group. We're going to put you all together. So hopefully you guys all enjoy talking to each other. And then there is going to be a new process for certified advisors, and we'll let you know a little bit more about that as time goes on. But for those of you that are already certified advisors, don't worry, we'll work on grandfathering you in and making sure that you're good to go. And also, the big news is we have 2 lead advisors this year. They're both on the call with us, and they went through a pretty crazy interview process and had to talk to Danielle and I, and they are amazing, and we're really excited to have them on board. They're going to be the ones leading the group, and they're going to make sure you guys get the content you need and the support you need, but also they're just great. They're powerhouse teachers and they have amazing advice. Jasmine and Stacy, you guys just want to wave to us? And I'm actually going to let Stacy just talk a little bit, if she's okay with it, a little bit about ClassTag Connect and how her role as an advisor helped with getting her school on board.
Hi. Okay, so ClassTag Connect was really great this year as an advisor because at my school, we were doing school-wide, but one of the complaints that I got from a lot of my teachers was, there's a lot of setup with this and I don't have time. And, this year of COVID, we definitely did not have time. So having Class Tag Connect, all of the classrooms got set up for us, which was fantastic. So I could focus my PD with teachers on, actually using the features in Class Tag instead of setting it up. Sorry, my child is just got to be in here right now. So, it was really nice having that setup done for us. The classes were already done and all we had to do was start using them. So I was able to make some videos for teachers and also hold PDs in my classroom because we started back on the campus at the beginning of the year where I'm at in Texas. So I gave teachers time to come see me if they needed help, or I made videos for them and posted them. I had a staff Class Tag classroom, so I could post things for them every week and they would get them. And it was a really great experience because, all the hard work was done. Stop, please. Thank you. Bye. And it was nice being able to see too with Connect, which teachers were using it and which ones aren't. Because I did have the ability as the administrator of it for my school to see all of those reports, which parents were communicating, which ones aren't, which teachers are using it and which ones aren't. So those reports were a huge plus for me with that program.
Awesome. Thanks, Stacy. And no worries about your son. It's part of home life.
Yes, it is.
Hashtag paralife. All right, guys. The moment we've all been waiting for, a nice Q&A. We are going to make sure we get through your questions. And let me go ahead and get set up here. All right. I guess we'll work from the bottom. We have a lot of great comments in here, guys. Thanks so much. So Emily was asking, is it a one-time classroom sync or does it sync regularly? And I think that means like through our Clever and integrations and stuff like that. So I'll turn that over to probably Vlada and Danielle are the best ones to talk about.
I think, or Colin. Right?
Or even Colin.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to answer that one, the Clever and ClassLink sync out on a nightly basis. And so every day at the start of the day, you'll have the updated roster for your students.
And Emily, Danielle does help because the second part of that question is, if, does it update? Oh, okay, never mind. For implementation, Danielle, you do implementation?
Yes. And how it works is there's, during the implementation phase, we work with your school and district leaders, I do, and your tech directors. And I would work with your tech director to make sure all of your rostering was synced with Clever and ClassLink before school started. So you're ready to go and you can start communicating with families.
Awesome. And a lot of people are happy to see that about the Clever. All right. And then for advisors, real quick, May 14th, try to respond back to the email we send out, and it'll probably go out, guys, on Monday morning. If you're looking for it, make sure you respond by the 14th of May so that you confirm your nomination. And if you're not an advisor, you might, if you got this email, you're more than likely going to be invited to be an advisor. And if you're still not and you're wondering, you can contact me or Danielle, sam@classtag.com or danielle@classtag.com. We'll make sure we get you guys set. And then, sorry guys, I know it's a lot of questions. Certified advisors, if you're a certified advisor now, we will be introducing the new process. Our lead advisors are going to help us come up with that process. And it will have to do with PD in your school. So, making sure that we can get that idea of parent communication and building community. And we really want that to go forward in your schools because we genuinely do want to help get parents on board. It's so much easier with parents on board. All right.
And please keep the questions coming. So we'll
Sure.
scroll both ways.
Scroll both ways. Colin, Nancy said that they really want a feature that allows you to give feedback on work that is placed in the backpacks. And I know that has come up. We're not saying we're not going to do it, but we are, maybe Colin, you'll have a little bit of insight.
Yep, I'm excited to offer that feature to you and very soon. It's just a matter of whether we'll have it for back to school. One thing that we do know is that being able to give direct feedback on assignments in the backpack versus having to download that and then go and and write to them in a direct message is something that I've heard from just a number of you on the phone. And so one thing that we are going to be doing next year, by the time the school year starts, is making it so any media that you put in a child's story will be directly saved to the backpack. And the intention there is trying to make it very easy for you to get things into student backpacks. And then next up on our plan is making items in student backpacks commentable. And what is going to be nice about that with the notification center that we released this year is that you'll get all of that information through the notification center. You should be getting notifications when something gets put into the backpack. But that is a improvement request that I've heard, and we are looking forward to delivering. So stay tuned.
Awesome.
And Colin, while we have you speaking, there is a question about student communications. I thought you might want to comment on that.
Yeah.
Student communications be possible?
Sure. So student communications will be possible next year as part of the Connect program. And so we will be rolling out a number of ways through Connect that you could enhance an announcement with sending the students being one of those ways. The other ways that we're rolling out, is that I kind of alluded to during the earlier presentation, is making it possible to send announcements as a voice broadcast, being able to send them with a high level of urgency, which basically means it'll override people's do not disturb settings, and a few other customizations. And the last way is sending an announcement through social media. And so those are going to be options that are available on the Connect side of the world.
And this is actually a great segue, and I think Danielle and Vlada and I could probably take this one. We saw a lot of concerns about your school director really doesn't want to deal with it, but they're not against you being on ClassTag, and maybe they're even willing to pay for it. Danielle, one of them says, what if your school director doesn't want anything to do with ClassTag and has left it up to one of her teachers to run ClassTag for the school? Have you found that happening on Connect side, and is that a problem?
Well, I would say in that case, it's best to have all teachers using ClassTag within your school. It'll be really hard for your school leader to say no if all the teachers are invested in the product and find ClassTag to meet their goals. You can always send them to our team. We'll meet with them. We can go over the product, we can demo it, and really talk through what the school-wide goals are and show them how ClassTag can be the solution. So I would start there, because a lot of times I find school and district leaders are hesitant to move forward with a product because they want teacher buy-in. And a lot of times when you have the buy-in there, it makes the decision a lot easier.
I completely agree. And guys, we're going to give you, by the time you're back for school, and probably before that, we'll have some great PD resources that are updated. So if you need to share PD, you'll be ready to rock and roll for coming back to school. And I understand, I'm actually in a district where was left up to my choice to make those choices, but there are quite a bit of administrators out there, especially at the school level, that are willing to, pitch in and pay. They just need to know why. And then, maybe they might let you run the ClassTag side and let you be the point of contact. And there's nothing wrong with that. There are Connect schools we have that, principals will sign off, but, the advisor is the main contact.
And I also want to reiterate how important it is to have these the reporting suite available. All of you are unique in the sense that you know how to add parents to a directory in your classroom. You've started with ClassTag at the bare bones. And when you have Connect, all of that heavy lifting of creating your classroom, adding in rostering, and all of that is done for you. And your school leaders are the ones who are able to review the engagement data of which families are connected over the ones who aren't. And so all you really need to focus on is communicating with your families and building those relationships. So again, I would definitely send an email to connect@classtag.com. Even if you're like, I think my school is interested, I'm not sure, just send us an email and we'll find a way to work with you and see how we can get a demo set up and talk through what your goals are for next year.
And we have, this is a great question for you, Colin. Can student names be attached to the parent names when we do direct messaging? And I know that maybe it's a great time to talk about student-centric view for parents.
Yes. So I know we recently did make some adjustments of thoughts and messages where you can see the student name. I'll have to check on that. But we are planning to redesign the messaging interface in the next 3 to 6 months. It's another thing, just like the backpacks that we want to do right at the start of school. But the goal with that would be to make it really easy for you to find, whether it's parents or students, who you're trying to send a message to, and maybe even be able to group them in different ways. Um, the other question, I'm sorry, about students was, can you remind me?
Right. It's just the student-centric view when parents log in. Right.
Yep. So what we are also going to be rolling out is what we call the student-centric view of the world, to Sam's words, where as a parent, if you have a child who's in multiple classrooms, what you'd be able to do is see all of the announcements for that child as if it was one classroom. So the flow for that child. What it will also do is provide all of the backpacks for that child. And so so what you'd be able to do as a parent is go and see all of their Google Classrooms right there, or other backpack and library information. And so what we are aiming to do is support schools that have children that are in different grade levels. And the pain point that we've heard a lot, especially from administrators, is having just too many different tools across the school. And so not only do parents have to learn how to use Class Dojo and different things, but then you also have those communications broken up in different classrooms. And we believe by kind of putting it together in that student center view of the world, it's going to make it really easy for families just to retrieve. And then, yeah, putting the Google Classroom stuff in there as well, we hope will bring parents into the process of supporting their children.
Awesome. And I know there was a question at the very, very top, Kristen, your question about Google Classroom. I think if you could just email me afterwards, maybe I could help you a little bit better and walk you through it, maybe would be helpful. I do see a lot of excitement over communication logs. Did you want to talk a little bit about that, Colin?
Yeah, so we are planning as part of the Connect platform to make available communication logs. And so what we know is that often every teacher has to keep a handwritten log of communications that happen outside of class tag, whether those are the in-person things that need to be recorded, or phone calls and other things. And so as we make class tag more expansive in terms of the number of ways you can communicate with families, we want to make it easier for you to be able to just kind of like export that log and have it available. So that way, whether it's for an IEP justification or some other need, you're able to kind of retrieve those logs and don't have to keep the handwritten notes and the other things that you do. And so for Connect customers, teachers will be able to log the physical interactions that they have with family members or phone calls or just anything that doesn't happen inside class tag. And then we'll marry that with what's actually happening inside class tag and make it really easy for the teacher or the administrator to retrieve that information. If you wanted to retrieve the whole history, tell me everything that happened with this family, we could do that. If you want to find a message that happened to that family on a specific date or a series of days, you'd be able to retrieve that. And so, just trying to lighten that compliance burden that we hear that you have around just keeping the logs of interactions.
And we have a question from Nancy that says, any word on if CPS is going to approve ClassTag as an approved app for CPS staff to use? Vlada, do we have Child Protective Services? Do we have any? Nancy, we would love to know more. Let us know. I'm not sure what process that we'd have to go through, but we are I Keep Safe certified to be COPA compliant and FERPA compliant. So hopefully maybe that helps. And then we have a question about, with Connect becoming available, does this mean school-wide announcements will no longer be part of the free version? And
that's accurate. Starting July 1st, people can still send announcements and go into individual classrooms. Let's say if you have multiple teachers using ClassTag in your school, but not not sending sort of one central announcement. So you could still, those teachers can still send individual announcements to their classrooms, or even the school leader if they're part of the some of these classrooms as well, but there wouldn't be one click of a button that goes school-wide. And we know that especially for those of you who rolled out ClassTag school-wide, we certainly want to appreciate that and support you the best we can. And so that's why we've offered this, special promotion or special conditions, and trying to meet you where you're at to get you transitioned and set up for success. So I think we shared that connect@classtag.com email to learn more about that. I also have seen a number of questions about behavior. I just wanted to address that. We do not have on our immediate roadmap for this back to school behavior features. We know that there are two camps, and both are very passionate about behavior. Some really like it, and others say absolutely not. Don't want to get anywhere close to it. And so certainly that's why we've been sort of very thoughtful about sort of what to do there, and observing. So it's not in our immediate roadmap, but I do know that Danielle developed some resources that perhaps is something we can integrate more into suggestions or product or something that can help with those.
And for those of you that aren't aware, we do have something called ClassTag Tickets. It's a whole program that Danielle put together, and we'll be more than happy to put that in our Facebook groups. And if you need it, feel free to email one of us. We'll make sure you get the link. Really some great comments and questions, guys. I think we got through a lot of them. Okay, so can Google Docs be live in the backpack so we can update weekly on the same document? Sarah asked that question. Maybe Colin or Danielle, do you?
So a Google document would be live in the sense that once you have a reference to that Google document in the backpack, if you updated the Google document, when the parent clicks on it, it would reflect those changes. So
yeah, it is live.
Yeah.
It is live to the extent that the document itself is live.
All right. Student name. Yep. Okay. I think we got them. I think we're catching up, guys. I have only had 10 more new messages instead of like 25. Student portal. I mean, there is a lot of comments about student portal and having student access for sure. And like they said, I want to reiterate, guys, ClassTag Connect does give student access. And if you want to know more about that, by all means, feel free to ask any questions you have around that.
Yeah, it allows you to send an announcement to students. I think one of the decisions we are trying to be thoughtful about, similar to the behavior piece that Vlad just mentioned, is the role in serving students. Because we've been traditionally a program focused on parent engagement, and once you start to service students, there's a lot of things that we might want to do, but we know that maintaining student data privacy is really important right now. And so the way that we've instrumented this feature initially is that you can send an announcement to students. Students aren't going to reply to the announcement, because then you would be, as the teacher, involved now in a workflow with communications with the student that need to be tracked and need to be, preserved and all of those things. And so I'm definitely excited and interested to hear what types of things that you'd like to do inside the ClassTag in terms of communicating with students. We're just being thoughtful about it because of the data privacy implications.
And Nancy has a question. This is a good Danielle question because she's good at this. Is there a difference between parents adding to the backpack and teachers adding to the backpack? She's just trying to find the best way to share photos only with parents of the kids in the photos.
So you can use Colin, do you want to talk about it since you
No, there's no difference between a parent or teacher putting something in the backpack except for who gets the notification. We encourage the backpack to be a place that people can collaborate on pictures and things like that. But one change that we are making next year is being more deliberate with what a child's story is right now, because right now a lot of educators are putting child stories at a classroom level, which is effectively an announcement. Whereas our intention with child stories was it's something very deliberate about that child themselves. And so as I shared a little bit earlier, we're making it possible so that any media that you put on a child story will go into that backpack. And so you as a teacher, we're trying to make it just really easy to just share stuff out with different students and know that they'll receive the communication, the parent, but then also that piece of media will be stored for the long run. And so if you're sharing pictures every day or throughout the a couple of weeks, if a parent goes to the backpack, there's a nice collection of those pictures organized by date. Right now, the message is stripped away, and we'll be adding the comments and stuff very soon.
Okay, and I've caught up. I got a couple direct questions to myself. Cheryl wants to know if, oh, this is great, Colin. I'm not sure if it was asked already. She wanted to know if she sends a mass message to parents as a blind copy, can she do that with student info?
That is also on the very near roadmap, to send a blind copy to parents as a message. I've heard that from a lot of you that, especially for communicating like something that, a difficult piece of information, that you want that to spawn like individual messages. And so we have that on our roadmap, and it's one of those items that we'll have in the first part of the upcoming school year.
Awesome. And Mrs. Tonya wants to know, will the messaging feature include paraprofessionals and co-teachers? That way everyone can see communication from all teachers connected to each student.
So if you add a co-teacher or paraprofessional to a classroom as a teacher, they would be able to participate as if they are one. And so I think the question is, are there roles that are not teacher roles that can be included in messages and announcements? I don't have a direct answer to that yet, because there is a way to do that by adding them as a teacher, right? And so I think we are considering different roles that within the construct of a classroom that are not teachers or parents. We know that you want to use ClassTag to also have professional learning communities, which are collections of teachers that are collaborating. And so that's one thing that we think a lot about. And I think in this case, adding someone to a group that can be a subject matter expert or weigh in, but is not directly a teacher, is something that we're also thinking about. And so in the short term, you'll be able to do that by having them be a co-teacher, but also sometime next year, we're going to be expanding upon the different things that you can do in terms of organizing groups.
And guys, if you have any other questions, feel free to pop them in. And this, I think, is the last question, unless I accidentally skipped over one of yours or something. This one's for Colin too. Surveys that parents can fill out in ClassTag, is that common?
I've been wanting to build surveys since the day I joined class. It's been my dream feature, where I haven't had all of the justification yet to prioritize it, but I just, every time that it comes up, I'm excited about it. We do hear it a lot, especially with administrators, because right now, during remote learning, that was one of the best ways to just learn about like school health questions or climate questions, technology needs. And so we do want to make it possible for you to poll parents at a classroom level, and also do more rigorous forms of surveys at the school and district level. And so those things will become available next school year, throughout the year in different forms. One thing that we're thinking about a lot is just the...
Hi. Sorry, I was speaking Russian, I forgot.
Hi. Last comment is the role of emojis going forward, because there's some interesting ways that we could evolve them. Like if you notice right now in Zoom, if we have that enabled, you can, you can say yes, no, go faster, go slower, right? Those are very intentional interactions that are specific to what we're doing in Zoom right now. And we know that the way that you're communicating with parents, or what I've heard from many of you, is that you want them to acknowledge a communication. Well, that's different than liking something, that's acknowledging something. And so we really believe that there's an opportunity to be very deliberate with our use of emojis and interactions in ClassTag as well. And so that's just another thing that we're thinking about. It's a form of polling, right? Asking people to acknowledge something or weigh in on whether they feel supported for the upcoming week with the schedule or the lesson plan. And so if you have some thoughts on this matter, my calendar is always open, and I've always enjoyed getting feedback from you all over the last year.
And Janice, I promise we didn't skip over you. I think the question I saw is how to use the backpack. Danielle, can you just run Janice real quick through how to use the backpack? And Janice, we are more than happy to get you a better explanation with pictures and videos and everything. If you give us your email address, or we'll just contact you afterwards.
Yeah, I'll send over a direct message and give her the link to the how-to video.
And if we forgot any of the other questions you might have asked, feel free to ask again. We will make sure we get answers to everybody. Guys, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Letta, do you have any final comments?
Well, final comment is just it's so gratifying to be here and see you all, and amazing work that gives us a much more purpose to what we do, because we know that through this platform we can support your amazing work and your relationship with families, and make students happier and more successful, and hopefully make your life also a little easier. I think that just is amazing. I want to thank all of you for trusting us, this important part of your job and your relationships with families, and being the facilitation platform for that. And you continue to inspire us all. As you've seen, we are very open to feedback, and certainly know that the only way that we improve the platform is by listening and working very closely with our amazing educators and families. And certainly I think Colin announced his his calendar is open, so go with it. And of course, Sam and Danielle, I know you guys are using them and reaching out, and hopefully you all feel that ClassTag is a welcoming community, and we look forward to supporting you and growing with you and learning with you as well.
And with that, I mean, the best words we can have right there. You guys enjoy your weekend, and we look forward to having something very exciting for you for Teacher Appreciation Week. Thanks, and have a great weekend.